The Conjuring Last Rites is the fourth Conjuring movie, and supposedly the last. Once again stars Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. It's directed by Michael Chaves, who directed The Devil Made Me Do It. That was the third Conjuring movie. And this one is dealing with the Smurl case. It was supposedly their biggest case, and they're nearing their retirement and shit like that. You know, Ed and Lorraine Warren. And, yeah. Conjuring 4. That's basically what this is. Well, not basically, it is. But, you know, there's a slew of other films in this franchise. So, what did I think of The Conjuring Last Rites? Well, I haven't reviewed any of the other Conjuring movies on my channel, so now it's the opportunity for me to get over my thoughts on the previous three films. I love the first two. They are some of the best modern horror films. They're both fantastic. The Devil Made Me Do It was a major disappointment. It really was. I wasn't expecting that movie to be as boring and uneventful as it was. But hey, that's just The Devil Made Me Do It. So now, what do I think of what do I think of Last Rites? It is just slightly better than The Devil Made Me Do It. It's slightly better, but this movie is still not that great. It's actually not good. It's really not. I know some hardcore Conjuring fans love this movie, and I wanted to love this movie just like I wanted to love The Devil Made Me Do It, but unfortunately, Michael Chaves is no James Wan. I'll tell you that right now. Now, before I get into me bitching about this movie, I'll get some positives out of the way. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, they're still great in their roles as Ed and Lorraine Warren. You know, that's one thing about this franchise that's never disappointed, and that's them as the Warrens. They're really great in their roles, they know what they're doing, and they always deliver. And despite the fact that this movie is plagued with really weak scares, there are some moments in this movie where the atmosphere does shine, and there's a couple of decent scares. And, yeah, I just like, you know, the heart of this movie is the Warrens and, you know, how they work together and shit like that. This movie never loses touch of that, so I really appreciated this movie for that. Other than that, this movie is long. It takes fucking forever to get to the point. And the scares, for the vast majority of the time, are weak. God damn. So you know how when you go to a Conjuring movie and you expect, you know, the Warrens to investigate this case and eventually do some kind of exorcism and shit like that? That's not what most of this movie is. Most of this movie deals with family drama. Because when you think of this big, fucking epic finale to The Conjuring, what, you expect family drama, right? No! That's the opposite of what you would expect. But no, the family drama in this movie takes up the vast majority of this movie's runtime. It reminded me of Five Nights at Freddy's. Not the second one, the first one. Yeah, when I go to a horror movie, I want some fucking horror, not some family drama. I mean, at least this movie does make more of an effort to give you horror than Five Nights at Freddy's, but even though it's weak, at least I'll give this movie some credit, at least it tries. Also, there is a lot of very unnecessary CGI in this movie, and it sticks out like a sore thumb too. You know, at least with the first three movies, there's maybe like a tad little bit of CGI here and there, but this movie is filled with it. Why do you need all the CGI? You're not making some big epic blockbuster. You're making a horror film. You don't need a fuck ton of CGI in a horror movie. Like, seriously. Come on now. And also, I really, really strongly dislike the fact that this movie took as long as it did to get to the point. By the time you finally get the Warrens helping this family, like, fully into the story, it's almost an hour and a half into the movie. Why did you need to take that long? And this movie's just a little over 2 hours. Why did you need to take that much fucking time to get to what we paid to see? Really? Come on. But, you know what? In the end, at least this movie's a little bit better than The Devil Made Me Do It, because more stuff does happen in this movie than in that. It's not quite as boring. I mean, yeah, this movie does get quite dull quite a bit of the time, but not to the extent that The Devil Made Me Do It did. The Devil Made Me Do It nearly put me to fucking sleep quite often. This one, at least, I was able to stay awake. But, yeah, other than that, yeah, this is a very lackluster conclusion to the Conjuring franchise. I expected a lot more. I was hoping that James Wan would have came back, you know, to do the final movie, but no, you have to get fucking Michael Chaves here. He's not the worst horror director I've seen, but no, he's not James Wan, not even close. But yeah, if you're a fan of this movie, like, good on you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. But for me, I expected a hell of a lot more out of this. It's definitely a massive disappointment. And especially, we're pretty much like in this golden age of horror, so yeah, just something like this that comes out, and another horror movie that I'll be reviewing a little bit later. Oh boy, you'll know what that is when you see it. Yeah, when it comes to like just this absolute golden age in horror that we're in, stuff like this just kind of pisses me off, you know. But yeah, The Conjuring Last Rites, it is a major disappointment of a film. I am going to give The Conjuring Last Rites a D+.